focuses on Tinja, a young gymnast who tries desperately to please her demanding mother and discovers a strange egg. She hides it and keeps it warm, but when it hatches, what emerges shocks them all. This is written and directed by Hannah Bergholm, and it hit theaters in April, followed by a VOD release in May, and it's essentially a mix of a creature feature with a psychological horror, acting as something of a twisted fairy tale. When this egg hatches, out pops a giant bird creature who Tinja names Ali, and with whom she forms a bond with. However, she realizes that Ali begins to act out Tinja's absolute worst tendencies whenever she gets frustrated or angry, as it's behind a series of attacks on those who Tinja takes issue with. It's one of those things that's never quite explained fully to how it's able to happen, but the ride is one that's certainly gripping. As I've said countless times, horror movies tend to work at their best when they're connected in some ways to personal issues, and in this case, we get a look at topics like the horrors of growing up and what happens when we try to conform to societal pressures. A lot of Tinja's frustrations do stem from her rocky relationship with her mother, who has to feel like she's in total control and is often manipulative in the way she almost always spins everything to make it about how she feels. She's essentially our antagonist, as she tends to be very passive-aggressive, especially in the way she pressures Tinja into performing gymnastics and being overly competitive about it, which causes her to get into her own head repeatedly. And I thought the film did a great job of capturing the simmering tension of this mother-daughter relationship and playing it against the daughter-bird relationship, which she initially sees as this form of comfort and a means of having something stable away from her toxic mother. However, both relationships intensify as the film goes on, and they cross paths in ugly ways, especially when Tinja discovers a secret of her mother's early on. And speaking of this bird, the effects for it were also commendable, as it was brought to life via an animatronic puppet, along with several performers in costume, and it looked quite impressive. It was eerier than it was really scary, but either way, it felt believable, and the way in which this creature was utilized, especially as Tinja tried hiding it, it even led to the occasional moment of dark comedy that I enjoyed. And as someone who's always a big fan of practical effects in movies, this was a highlight for me. The film has a tight 90-minute runtime that paced things out nicely, allowing room for character development for Tinja and exploring how she's dealing with all this mounting pressure, while offering some good old-fashioned creature feature thrills at the same time. As mentioned, I would have liked to explore how such an odd supernatural element is possible in an otherwise seemingly grounded story, as well as maybe just touch a bit more on the darkly comedic moments to break some of the tension, but even with that aside, it's still fairly captivating. And it makes hatching a good bit of fun. Its combination of monster movie thrills with a psychological aspect about societal pressures balances out a lot nicer than I would have thought it would, making for both a compelling character study and a fun little horror movie that you should definitely check out. Hatching gets an 8 out of 10. So let me know, did you see Hatching, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find it unsettling, and what's a good creature feature that you've seen? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.